Hodgson. The editor of the programme is Bridget Harney.
BBC. A husband blames his marriage breakdown on his wife's obsession with social networks. A student drops out of college because he can't tear himself away from interactive gaming. A mother neglects her real-life children while she nurtures a virtual child online. What is it that turns an internet user into an internet addict?
I had no control. I was friend requesting left, right and centre, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I sat back on the computer and realised I hadn't had breakfast. I wasn't dressed, and I'd been there for hours.
Caught in the web. Online from Wednesday the 23rd of March at bbcworldservice.com.
I'm Rajan Datar, and every weekend I hand the airwaves over to you. So if you feel strongly about what you hear on the BBC, then SMS 447786 2020 06.
Hello, I'm Alan Johnston, and in a few moments I'll be here with From Our Own Correspondent. In the programme, at a cafe table, we tap into the mood in a Libyan rebel stronghold. A reporter wonders what the turmoil in Ivory Coast will mean for the nation that he's adopted as his own, and the life of an enterprising pizza man in communist Cuba. All that and more in From Our Own Correspondent after the news.
BBC News with Michael Poles. 3 members of a BBC Arabic team have given graphic accounts of how they were arrested, blindfolded and beaten by government forces while reporting on the conflict in Libya. The men were held in blood-stained cells where they heard other people screaming in adjacent rooms. The International Committee of the Red Cross has complained that it's still not getting access to those areas of Libya that have seen the heaviest fighting. The Red Cross said the conflict was intensifying and civilians were bearing the brunt, especially in the west. France has become the first country to formally recognise the Libyan Opposition National Council, saying it was the only legitimate representative of the Libyan people. The move was confirmed after talks in Paris between the French President Nicolas Sarkozy and 2 delegates from the Council. The President of Yemen, Ali Abdullah Saleh, has declared that there will be a new constitution for the country and a switch to what he said would be a parliamentary system. His announcement, in a televised speech to a crowded rally, follows weeks of sometimes violent protest against his 32-year rule. Tibet's exiled spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, has announced a long-awaited plan to devolve his political responsibilities to an elected figure. He said he'd begin the formal process of stepping down at a meeting of the Tibetan Parliament in exile next Monday. The head of the American State Department's office that looks after relations with Japan has been replaced for apparently making disparaging remarks about people living on the island of Okinawa. Japanese media quoted the official as saying that Okinawans were lazy and used their island's hosting of US military bases to extort benefits. American regulators have approved the first new drug in more than 50 years to treat lupus, an autoimmune disease which affects about 5 million people worldwide. The drug is the first ever to be specifically developed to treat lupus. And that's the summary from BBC News.
You're listening to the BBC World Service. I'm Alan Johnston, and this is From Our Own Correspondent. In today's programme, as the battle for Libya rages